All right, Raider Nation, what is up? Raider Nation football fans, welcome back to the Raiders Empire podcast. Obviously, it's been a little bit, but football season is back, and the Las Vegas Raiders officially kicked off their inaugural season with a W in Carolina. And I'm here with Jake Riggio, my co-host, and buddy. What's up, Jake?
How's everybody doing? Isn't that just great to say? The Raiders are back. The Raiders are back 1-0. I mean, doesn't get much better than that. 1-0 start.
1-0, and the Las Vegas Raiders are officially undefeated all time right now, so that's pretty cool going into our first game ever in the Death Star coming up against Drew Brees and company. No Michael Thomas, though. But regardless, let's talk about Carolina and some things we initially saw. Jake, if you want to go ahead and kick us off right there about what you saw in Carolina, what you liked and didn't like.
Absolutely. Week 1 at Carolina. I thought it was... Overall, I mean, can't be upset 1-0, right? But let's talk about the offense first. Obviously, when we talk about the offense, we first have to talk about our Hall of Fame running back already. Josh Jacobs, top 3 back in the league, in my opinion. I think we saw arguably the top 2 running backs in that Week 1 matchup between McCaffrey and Jacobs. He picked up 9 first downs in that football game. If that's not production and what you want a running back to do, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Our O-line looked great. Still waiting news on Trent Brown. But what do you think about up front and our running back?
Yeah, obviously Jacobs kicking it off with the hat trick was something to be marveled at. The dude just continues to get better and better, and for anybody who was, looking for any reason to see if he was maybe going to slump this year or maybe come back down to earth, maybe a sophomore slump or something like that, well, clearly he hit the gates. He hit the gate running, and he is just going already crazy with over 90 yards, 3 touchdowns, over 130 all-purpose yards, which is great to hear because the biggest thing I think this offseason was Raiders fans desperately calling for Gruden to get Jacobs more involved in the pass offense. And obviously Josh Jacobs I feel like he would have been more heavily involved with it last season. He just needed to work on pass protection, which is something Jalen Richard has a lot of experience at. So Jalen Richard got all the looks last year. But, I mean, our running game as a whole this year, already just from what we saw in Carolina, which I don't think is, it's Carolina, to be fair.
Not a great example, but right.
Yeah, not a great line, but a serviceable line and one that's good for, kind of kicking off a season and testing our backfield, especially guys like Booker that wasn't here last year and I think looked really great besides that fumble out of bounds, but which is an issue that he had in Denver. But to me, he looked good. To me, Jacobs looked amazing. Ingold, obviously, is when his name is called, we know that he's going to be ready. And Richard actually kind of getting buried a little bit was a surprise because I feel like the linebackers on the Panthers is something we could have taken advantage with, something I think we did take advantage with in the run game and the pass game and utilizing our running backs. And Richard, a dude that is usually the first one called up for that task, was kind of buried this week in the depth chart, which is something, I don't know if it's a testament to his camp or a testament to Booker's camp and how good he looked this year, but
I just think it's definitely a combination of things. I mean, like you said, getting Jacobs those pass looks, get him out into the flat, get him into the open field, I think that's amazing. I think we need to let our playmakers be playmakers at the end of the day. And, yeah, I think Booker looked well. I think everybody did their role well on the running game and in the passing game offensively with the running backs and stuff. When we talk about Derek Carr next, I'm really not complaining about the performance I saw from Carr this weekend. I thought he moved the ball well. There weren't really many misses. There were a few. I mean, that one play with Ruggs that he got blown up on. I know Waller was wide open in the end zone, but those are just little misses. And, I mean, we're still getting completions down the field.
Yeah, I saw that too. And here's the thing is I feel like I on a normal occasion I would be upset with Derek for missing that throw, but I'm just glad that we're taking shots downfield. And if he's missing one shot downfield to target a greater shot downfield, then at the end of the day, I'm just happy that the Raiders are finally finding an identity on offense. Carr looks sharp, and I think this confirmed two things for me this Sunday was the Raiders do have an identity now on offense. We have guys like Ruggs, and I feel like we're really confident in our receiving ability now. Even with Tyrell out for the year, we're much deeper than we were last year. Even Aguilar is out there already catching touchdowns. So I think it's great to be, to come in already with an identity and see that we're taking shots and we're playing a little bit bolder. And the second thing that it kind of confirmed for me is that Derek Carr is exactly kind of what we thought he was going to be heading into this season, which is his stat line isn't going to be overboard or going crazy, but he is going to game manage and he's going to be able to lead us down the field. He looked poised in the fourth quarter, coming back from behind, which is something I would assume after the career that he has had,
right,
that we would be used to coming from behind. But
yep.
He does look good. He looks sharp. The offense, I think, looks sharp. But it's all definitely bolstered by this incredible running game. And Darren Waller, I feel like, especially with the Saints coming up with their linebacker core, we need to get Darren Waller much more involved.
Yeah, he had the opportunity to get involved too, just a few misses. And I'm not worried about that. I mean, I think we spread the ball around well, and overall I think we moved the ball well as an offense this week, and I'm pretty happy. Just worried about some injuries. Looks like we're going to get a report on all those guys tomorrow with Trent Brown, Ruggs, and some defensive guys and a few other guys up front, Richie and them. But, yeah, overall I think our offense looked pretty damn good.
I agree. And coming back up with the defense, I think the first thing a bunch of us felt as Raiders fans was, after watching the giving up 30 points to Carolina, obviously I was kind of more upset at Paul Gunther more than I was at the players on our team, because I feel like, obviously it is a brand new defensive unit almost for this team, but it does irk me a little bit to give up 30 points to Teddy Bridgewater, because that's a brand new offense, and I don't think a brand new offense should be giving up or should be putting down 30 points against a unit like our defense. And I do think our linebackers were a lot better. Obviously, Corey Littleton. At one point, Corey Littleton came off the edge and got pressure on Teddy, and I almost broke down finally having a linebacker that we can rely on. The dude was out there playing snaps at strong safety, linebacker coming off the edge. He was just exactly what he's been advertised as. And Kwiatkowski obviously is the green light on that defense. And losing him, you could tell the difference on the field. So obviously I think he's not going to play against New Orleans. He's doubtful right now. But the coaches are saying that he looks a lot better, which is good, because I would take him missing the game in New Orleans the game against New Orleans over him, having a torn pec and being out for who knows how long.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, let's call it spade to spade. We played a subpar offense last week, and they put up 30 points on us. So it's not the best look, and it does fall on Gunther. At the end of the day, it falls on Gunther. We have zero pass rush to Teddy. That was the most frustrating thing to watch. I mean, we could not get a pass rush to save our lives last week. But at the end of the day, we got the stop when it mattered. So
We did.
Yep, we got the stop when it mattered. And then if we can take one positive away from this defense, man, I mean, let's just talk about Jonathan Abram for a second. That dude is a fucking stud.
He is a missile. He was everywhere at once on the field. The dude was wreaking havoc on the field. He was talking his talk, and he was just going crazy. I mean, the dude looked like he could play middle linebacker out there, to be honest.
He gets downfield fast, he fills, and he just cracks fools. And it's so fun to watch. It's such a fun Raider. That's how the Raider mentality defense should be. And he works it all the way through. And it's just he's awesome to watch.
Exactly, and he really is coming out here looking like he didn't skip a beat last year. He looks like he played a full rookie season and that he got even better coming back this year. And the dude just is his confidence, his swagger, and he backs it up with the ability. I mean, he's just such a well-rounded player. I can't wait to see what he does to Kamara in the flat and to dudes like Jared Cook coming here in Vegas, especially with no Michael Thomas and, Sanders only practicing twice this week. I mean, he's going to have a lot of opportunities this game because I think the Saints are going to try and take advantage of the middle of the field a lot like Brees does. And Abram and Littleton, those guys are really going to have their chance this week to prove that they can do what we brought them here to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not going to be an easy feat against Drew Brees and his Saints coming in. Michael Thomas being out helps us immaculately. But, yeah, it's going to be another test. And Abram's got to – I mean, he's the lifesaver on this defense. He's the one that sparks the plug, gets everybody going. So it's really up to him. It's up to our linebacker core because I think they're probably our best core on that defense is the linebackers. And, yeah, we'll see what happens.
With what happened pass rush-wise against the Panthers, I feel like it was almost a testament to our young cornerbacks considering with no pass rush, that's leaving everything to those guys, and those guys were hardly picked on. Obviously, you look at Twitter and everyone's talking about Arnett giving up a perfect passer rating in his debut, but if you look at that, aside from that 75-yard touchdown, which he over-pursued Robbie Anderson, obviously got hit, and Anderson broke the Eric Harris tackle. But that was, take that away, and I think he had a pretty solid debut. Mullen looked great, breaking up that one pass in the end zone. They weren't targeted very much, though, and I think even with no Michael Thomas, I feel like it'll be, an even bigger test going against a QB like Drew Brees for these young guys in the secondary.
Yeah, man. Even I thought even LaMarcus Joyner looked pretty good, filling in the slot. And yeah, I think you're right. The cornerbacks, that is a testament to them because Teddy did have all day, and Teddy missed a lot of throws. Let's be honest, but I didn't hate how our corners looked at all, really at all.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, especially considering it's their first game as a unit together. It's Arnett's first game. Isaiah was out there, actually a lot. Isaiah Johnson was out there for quite some snaps, which is a testament, I guess, to how well he did in camp. But also Nevin Lawson will be back coming up against the Saints. We'll have some sort of veteran presence in that room of young dudes, which, we saw full glimpses of not only our two starters, but of Isaiah Johnson coming back from injuries so far in his career too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And another plus, Daniel Carlson looked great. Looked really good.
Yeah, that 54-yarder, man. That was probably, I tweeted or something about it. I think that was the best kick I've seen on the Raiders since the Janikowski era.
I mean, it feels great to go send a guy out there and make a field goal for us, get 3 whenever, So that was
exactly
encouraging. Special teams player of the week, AFC, not to mention.
Exactly. All right, man. Well, going into the Saints game, first game in the Death Star, what are your notes, heading in? What do we have to do to win? What do we got to look out for? Just go ahead and tell us about it.
Yeah, so off the bat, Raiders, Saints, one of the best teams in the league. I think it's hard to say otherwise that Saints are one of the best teams in the league. I think this game's a lot about ball control. I think Jacobs needs to touch the ball a minimum of 15 times, upwards towards 20. I think we need to control the clock. And, yeah, I think our run game needs to be big. I think we need to spread the ball out. I think, like you said, Darren Waller needs to have a big game. We need to get the linebackers into pass coverage because we know they're not necessarily great on that Saints side in coverage with their backers. So, really, it's a lot about ball control this week. And like I said, defense-wise, if we're letting Teddy sit back there all day, what do you think Drew's going to do,
Exactly. Even without so many weapons on the team. Drew Brees as a quarterback I find very similar to Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson, where they just make, depleted cores around them. They help those dudes step up. So obviously no easy task, but they also might be without Marcus Davenport, which is huge for our O-line. Except it also might be Denzel Good going up against Cameron Jordan this week, which is not ideal. But I do like how he filled in for Sam Young and Trent Brown against the Panthers, and I think it's a testament to how well our O-line is coached and how versatile these dudes are. Even rookie John Simpson is a dude that can step in at tackle and guard and play wherever his name is called. But I think to win, we just have to not take our foot off the gas against these dudes. I mean, if we're throwing bricks on the pile, we got to keep doing that, because Gruden has an awful tendency as coach to, as soon as the Raiders are up 2 scores or 8 points, whatever, Gruden has this tendency to coach conservatively for the next 2 drives, go 3 and out, and then let them crawl back, and then we end up playing from behind late in the 4th quarter, which is not where you want to be against the Saints. So I think, again, like you said, we need to pound the run, we need to run out the clock, and if we have a lead, we need to take care of it, and we need to keep scoring points. So I think that's going to be ultimately the decision maker against this Saints team. But I am going in with more optimism than I feel like I should be. Like I feel pretty good about this game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm looking at the number right here, and Vegas has New Orleans as -5.5 favorites this weekend, which I think is awfully, I wouldn't say generous to us, but just by that number, it gives me a sneaky feeling that we're gonna be in this game, and we're gonna be right there till the end of the clock. Just 5.5 points. They're not even giving the Saints a touchdown in this game, so it's really interesting what Vegas is doing with this number too.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm just with no Kwiatkowski and everything, it's gonna be huge for these backers to step up. I know there's no wide receiver, there's no Michael Thomas, so we're playing against basically an old friend in Jared Cook. And an old friend in Latavius Murray and Kamara. We're gonna see them out in the flat a lot. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of. I feel like the Saints are kind of going in almost with the same game plan of they want to eat up that clock for sure too, because they don't want to see guys like Henry Ruggs on the field. They don't want to see Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller out there.
Yeah, man. Latavius got a lot of touches last week, too. So that's definitely something we're going to keep an eye out. And they have, that's a very good 1-2 punch with Kamara and Latavius, too. So boys are going to have to be good up front, definitely. And like I said, I think pass rush is key this weekend. I really do.
For sure, man. Got to get that pressure on Drew Brees. Got to help out those young corners, but it's going to be nice to see Nevin Lawson out there again. Hopefully the safeties, besides Abram, I feel like the safeties need a bounce-back game, letting a lot of big looks go in the middle and downfield. So hopefully Harris, picks it up again this week, and if he doesn't, I feel like regardless if he does or not, I feel like it's maybe smart to dip into the free agency pool of safeties, maybe a guy like Tony Jefferson, or even with that cleared up cap space, doing the due diligence on Earl Thomas. And obviously Raider fans know more than anything about cancerous locker room characters and dudes and over pursuing and spending money and with the whole Antonio Brown thing. But I feel like Earl Thomas is a good enough player, and we could get a reasonable enough contract in there to maybe, if we wanted to just scope out the situation.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever needs to happen, because what's going on back there hasn't looked great. But Jonathan Abram, lifesaver. So
exactly. All right. Well, that's basically it for today. We're just going over the first week and what we need to do to help us win in our first game of the Death Star coming up here in Vegas. So appreciate you guys going ahead and stopping in and listening, and glad to be back and glad to have Raider football back. Anything you need to say, Jake?
Absolutely. Nope, I'm all good. Raider Nation, we're going to try to do these every week probably, post games and upcoming future games. So, yeah, stay tuned. Go Raiders this Monday.